Zander, I don't think they have enough to beat you, but I think they have enough to make it a game.
Yep,
That's exactly what they did tonight.
In an opening week matchup that had absolutely everything, the Philadelphia Eagles escaping their 1-0 in the 25 season, or the 2025 football season. Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show. Another year of the Postgame Show kicks off right now, and the Eagles get a win in week one. Big Sills, welcome in. I'm my host, Dan Sileo. We'll be joined by John McMullen later on. That was a game, Big Sills, that had a little bit of everything. It started on a rocky note with the way Jalen Carter was ejected from the football game. Offenses started humming, and then after the rain delay, the defense has come alive. Big Sills, welcome into the show, man. Your first initial reaction to the Eagles' 1-0 start to the year.
They couldn't have had a worse start to that game. I mean, an absolutely low character moment by Jalen Carter. I saw that Dak Prescott initiated it, but bro, you're a professional. You've got to handle yourself better than that, because somebody goats you into it. You start off on an absolute low character moment. Van Sumeren's hurt on the field at the same time.
Right.
And once again, too, as we said, playing Landon Dickerson, I blame the Philadelphia Eagles for putting that guy out there when he was not ready. You can see that now, that guy may not be available for the next 3 or 2 football games now. He was taken to the side. He was taken in. I mean, I get it. I mean, for whatever reason, too, Jordan Mailata was getting killed the entire night. I know why now. That's because Landon Dickerson was playing injured in that ball game.
Yep, Landon
I said
Dickerson.
The Cowboys, for them to stay in this game, had to rush for over 120 yards. The Dallas Cowboys had a running attack that I didn't even know where the hell it came from, man.
Bills, they ran for 119 yards. You were almost right on the button. I think, actually, Sileo, I think your number was 118 on the pregame show, and they ran for 119 in this game. Look, the good news is this. It's week one, right, and we knew it was going to be ugly. Now, there's a lot to dissect, and we're going to dissect it all. I think the Jalen Carter conversation is one that we have to talk about immediately. I think that defense – Sills, it's only week one, and I'm not going to say you were fully right just yet, but the blowtorch you talked about this offseason looked like it was there tonight. Okay, that's a defense that has a lot of problems. But wait, the Eagles win in an ugly game. I want to go right to Jalen Carter.
Week one, too.
It's week one. We knew it was going to be ugly. Right. We knew it was going to be ugly. So the fact that you get the win, I think, is the beauty of the night. I don't want that to be lost. Eagles win. They escape. Right. Good news. Let's talk about Jalen Carter, because, I put out a bunch of stuff on the halftime show. We were on the Green Zone where we talked about it during the rain delay. And then the footage emerges of Dak Prescott spitting. And somebody sends it to me and they say, well, has your thought process evolved? And I said, well, it certainly added context, Sills, but congratulations. Instead of one person making a low-quality human move, you have 2 humans making a low-quality human behavior. Jalen Carter, as you said it eloquently and perfectly at the start of the show, you got to be a professional. You got to understand that this team's goals are bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. I thought that was an egregious move by Jalen Carter. What did you make of him spitting on Dak Prescott?
Okay, everything you just said is correct, okay? I was thinking that the league would come down with a 3-game suspension, but because it initiated by Dak Prescott, I'm thinking that this is probably going to be like a Bill Romanowski fine. Right. A pretty significant fine here for something like that, because they don't want that being shown on national television. I thought it was a suspension. Now I backed off on that, having seen Dak initiated it, okay? So, but there's no question. I mean, you can see the difference in what that player makes and the integrity of the entire defense. Zander, I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys punted in the first half. I don't know if they punted. I mean, they went
up 4
for
4 sales on scoring on the first drives. And you can thank this is where I'm pissed at Jalen Carter. People are like, oh, Dak spit first, so who cares? No, fuck that. I'm sorry, but that is not the take. You almost lost week one because of that spit. Okay, absolutely. So people can say, you can figure out who you want to blame and who you think is the worst guy of the 2. I really don't care. Jalen Carter, and so you asked a question a couple weeks ago on your show, all right, when the Eagles captains were revealed. And you said, why isn't Jalen Carter a captain? Well, was that not one of the most immature things you've ever seen from a football player?
It's completely like, especially with a guy who's going to make potentially $40 million.
Right.
I mean, you're the future of the football team, man. You got to act like it. You're the face of that defense.
100% agreed, Sileo.
Not to be thinking that you are not the centerpiece of that. And dude, get this. It's one thing. My kid's watching the ball game with me. She goes, man, I get it. If it's the fourth quarter, before the game even starts, I mean, you put your team in a hole like that.
Right.
Absolutely. You couldn't have had. And then, like I said, you had Van Sumer in there. And then you end up getting Dickerson. That offensive line got stuffed, in my opinion, by the Cowboys. I was surprised. I can't believe the Cowboys hung in that game. Now, I go back and say one thing that you said. Listen, I told you week 1 is a liar's week, and it is also September is a liar's month. So you got away with this. You did. But I'll tell you what, if Landon Dickerson is injured, Tyler Steen got handled. He was handled in that football game. He was handled. Okay? The Cowboys were pushing that team back, and he was getting handled. Okay? And you could see the effect that Dickerson's injury had. Mulata was getting run around like a turnstile. That had to be one of the worst performances by an offensive line when it came to pass protection. I'll also say this. Where the hell was Kevin Patullo's passing game? That thing was absolutely spotty at best.
Well, I mean, look, I get it's week 1. And
I'm going to say this to you about Jalen played great.
Great. So Jalen's the reason we won this football game. There is no other way to put it. Jalen is the reason we won this football game.
He was great. He made plays when he had to. He extended. That was 2022. Jalen Hurts at his best there when, guess what? You thought they had him pinned in when it was 3rd and long. That last 3rd and long he made with his wheels, Zander, that was ignored. He made those plays all night with his wheels. He really had a really good game tonight. And I really think, again, like you said, if he doesn't play like that, they don't win the football game.
I agree,
he was
100%.
the reason. Barkley, I thought Barkley was shut down tonight.
Well, he was shut down, but what I liked about Barkley tonight was he ran really hard, and the yards that he did pick up were meaningful yards. He got a couple first downs. He always runs hard, but he was 18 carries for 60 yards tonight. So in theory, you're right. Jalen Hurts tonight, Sills, was 19 of 23 for 152 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, a 94 rating, only took 1 sack, and he also had 14 carries for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Jalen, again, I mean, there you go. There's the stats. I mean,
that's actually kind of what I thought it'd be around 145, and I thought it'd be around 75 yards or 65.
And he was efficient too, 19 and 23, and I think there were 2 or 3 throwaways at least.
And they had 38 carries total in the football game, which is exactly where I thought. I said they need to run the ball for about 38 times in this game for them to win this game. But let's put this in context here. We're not talking about one of the elite football teams in the NFL. We're talking about a 7-win Dallas Cowboy team. At best, I mean, Dallas showed up. Give them credit, man. They really played hard tonight. I thought Dallas went out there and made a statement for themselves, and they played pretty well defensively. And I'll tell you, Dak did not play poorly. You know who had a bad game? CeeDee Lamb with those drops. He was terrible.
Dude, you could maybe make an argument if he makes a couple of those catches.
Win.
We have a different outcome.
Dude, he was terrible.
I mean, some of his drops.
That last pass, that was a tough catch. But how about them wide open passes that hit him in the hands?
100%.
But it was critical 3rd down plays.
Yep.
What could have extended the drive and put him in field goal position? How about Miles Sanders putting the ball on the turf too? I mean, of all guys doing that, it reminded me
a big run too.
Why they don't want that guy under a football team anymore.
So how about this game though, man? That's why I started the show with it. We had everything. We had a weather delay. I haven't seen the Eagles have a weather delay in I don't know how many years. They started with the ejection of Jalen Carter. You had the offenses humming, and then the defenses got the better. I mean, this was a game that was really a fun week 1 game because it had everything. And I'm happy because look, you always want to come out of those games with the win. That's the most important thing. They're going to be ugly. Things aren't going to run as smoothly. I do think there's some real things we can discuss with Kevin Patullo, as you mentioned. I do want to get over to the defense, Sills. Let's go there right now. I didn't think the defense was great at all. I mean, I thought there was a lot of problems on that defense. None other than mainly Adoree Jackson, who really stuck out like a sore thumb.
He was terrible.
He was terrible. I mean, they got a problem still as that cornerback. They really do. I think they got to make a move. I don't think Howie's done adding. You're hearing rumors that he's in conversations for edge rushers. We'll see what they end up doing. But what'd you make of kind of the defensive performance tonight? I thought Zach Bond played well. And I'll say this. One of the reasons I'm so upset with Jalen Carter, if he plays in that football game, that's another thing where this outcome would be way different had he played start to finish in that game. What'd you make of the defense tonight, Big Sills?
I thought that secondary was just very, very weak. I mean, Dak was doing pitch and catch the entire night tonight. And for me, Zander, I thought they were playing too far off the ball. I thought they put Q in some really odd positions in that game tonight. But I'm going to say it again to you, Zander, that the way that they played, it just didn't look. I'll tell you, though, in the fourth quarter, I thought they manned up better, especially in the last 3 minutes of the football game.
Almost like after the delay. After the delay,
I thought they played tougher in the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes of that game, and they knew they had to get it done. That was the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles, because they knew they had to get stops. They got the stops, and I thought they played better in the last 3-4 minutes of the game. But, boy, I'll tell you, man, I thought the safety play, I thought the corner play, Adoree Jackson is just not good enough to be on the football field. And I'll say this too. The pressure, what'd you make of the pressure in the game?
I mean, it was almost non-existent. I mean, I think you had some guys, Josh Uche was getting some pressure. I thought Jordan Davis made some nice strides tonight. He was a little streaky. Some drives you could really see him. Some drives he kind of fell away. But overall, I mean, not that much pressure, no doubt. I don't know. Did we even have any sacks in the football game? I think we had 1 sack. No, we had 0 sacks in the game. So 0 sacks, 3 tackle for losses, 6 pass deflections. I do think a positive on the defense was I thought Jahad Campbell had a nice opening night for him. And I thought Andrew Makuba was all right tonight. I don't think they did anything spectacular, but for 2 rookie players in game 1, I thought they had a positive performance tonight.
I did. Yes. I think the rookies played well. And Jalen Carter's absence was just felt all over the defense, man. I mean, they were able to run the ball, dude. I mean, they moved the sticks on them. What did they have yards per carry in that game, too? I mean, look at this right here. I mean, look at what they ran for. They ran for 5.4 yards a carry. Is that right? The Cowboys ran for 5 yards a carry in this game. That's getting your ass kicked. You got your ass kicked on the ground against a team that doesn't have a legitimate running back. That's Jalen Carter's absence in the middle in there.
100%.
I mean, dude, you made that game close, and you almost cost your football team a game.
Do you think there's any fallout with Carter? Like not fallout, but a suspension or like I said this, Sills, all right? And this was before I knew Dak spit on him, because I didn't know that at first. It didn't come out, obviously, for 3 hours. Of course, how convenient. The NFL doesn't release that their baby Dakota didn't spit on the car. Again, two shitty human moves. I don't really care. It doesn't change for me. If you're Jalen Carter, you got bigger goals than spitting on Dak Prescott. But, I thought that completely changed the entire trajectory of the football game when he got out. And then Dak kind of, it almost was like he baited him, got him in, and then he got what they wanted in a sense.
I'll tell you what, though, too. It wobbled the team. You could tell it wobbled them right out of the gate, but they were able to settle.
Yeah, but back to my point real quick, though. I forgot to say this. We talked about one of the themes of the team this year, Sileo, is the youth. And when you lose guys like Darius Slay.
That's right.
All right. You lost Josh Sweat. You lose Brandon Graham. You lose Milton Williams, who's younger but still had more pedigree. You lose, I'll even say, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's been in the league, who's learned some of those mistakes. He even talked about what he learned from being ejected in the Commander game last year, and that was for a much lesser reason. So you take those vets off the team and you replace them with all youth, and you do have a little immaturity that showed tonight on the defensive side of the ball. Nolan Smith had a taunting penalty. Jalen Carter was obviously ejected. I think that's something to watch for, and I wonder what Vic's approach is to nip this in the butt early.
Absolutely. There is no doubt about it that you saw a lot of immaturity on that defensive side of the football. And and very disappointing in one of the leaders of the football team, or so-called leaders of the team, and Jalen Carter. And then you even had it even with Nolan Smith. I think there was a lot of frustration out there on that football field. And I'll tell you something else that reared its head. Boy, I'll tell you what, Zander, your health of your football team is a concern right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is an absolute concern. The biggest takeaway from this game is the health of Landon Dickerson moving forward. How is it? Dude, that guy Toth and that guy Steen in the middle. Let me tell you something, bro.
I didn't think you thought Steen was awful. I didn't notice him being
I thought the defensive line, get this, they held the Eagles to 62 plays. And get this, they held them to 4 yards a carry. They had a higher rushing average in this game running the ball than the Philadelphia Eagles did. I mean, dude.
Well, I'll say one positive from the defense. They gave up 20 points. And for all the great members on JAKIB Nation, you know what that means. We're giving away a jersey. The first jersey of the year has officially been qualified with a 20-point allowance for the Birds tonight. So that's one positive. But I do agree with a lot of what you said there.
Bro, listen, one more time. The most important thing out of this whole thing is a win in an ugly September. September is such a fool's gold month in football, college and pro.
Yeah.
You really don't know what you're looking at. You have no tendencies to be able to lean on in any way. Tonight, you saw a lot of ugly football, but you get out of there with a win. Remember, this is not where you have to win like you do in a college football year where you have to look sexy so you move up in the polls. This is all about winning and losing right here, and they got the win. And what was really good about it, though, Zander, tonight you saw something that was important. They knew they had to get it done, and they got it done in the end.
And I get you
defensively. That's the takeaway that's good on this.
And that's where I just think Jalen Hurts deserves a lot of credit. You know, I know he doesn't win games like a lot of other quarterbacks in the league win games, but I mean, he was exceptional tonight in the way he kept willing that team back in a position to win the football game. I think Jalen Hurts deserves a lot of credit. So there's a couple other takeaways. I do want to dive back into the offense before we close out this first segment. We're going to get to the super chats. I want to thank and welcome everybody for being here tonight on the first post-game show of the 2025 season. Thank you all for being here. Hit that like button. Drop your comments down below. All super chats will be read momentarily here on the show, so I appreciate each and every one of you. Another positive tonight, Sills. All right, in my estimation, Jake Elliott hit a 58-yarder, and it was right through the uprights, and it looked like it would have been good from 65. Remember, he was 1 for 7 or 1 for 8 last year on 50+. So you're going to need that kicker to be better this year, and I thought that was a good sign there. I know you don't care much about kickers, but they do impact games, and I thought that was a positive thing there.
You know what else? Who had a big game? I thought your punter had a big game.
Well, he's good.
He pinned the Cowboy team back under the 20 at least 3 times tonight. So, I mean, I thought he had a great night, especially with a defense that was giving up a lot of yards and a lot of possessions. I thought the punter had a hell of a game. Did a really nice job in making those drives have to go 70+ yards. I mean, the special teams, Michael Clay's guys had a good night tonight.
Yeah, no, good stuff there. All right, so let's get into that offense. All right, I do think a lot of good on the offense. We talked about Jalen Hurts. I thought he played really well. Saquon got shut down but did run hard. I think the glaring thing here is, what, you have 1 target for A.J. Brown, and it came in the last minute or 2 of the game. For the life of me, Sills, for the life of me, I can't understand how think about it. You're a new offensive coordinator. You have your first game coming up. You have A.J. Brown on your football team. Like, don't you think he's like, give me a slant early? I know that'll work, right? Like, I don't get how you don't get A.J. Brown involved. Again, I think there's some good on the offense we can talk about, but what did you think of the passing game, not getting A.J. involved? Really didn't get DeVonta involved either. 3 targets, 3 catches for 16 yards with a long of 7. I mean, that's not really great right there. You have DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown. We should use them, should we not? I mean, what'd you think, Sills?
4 targets for DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown tonight. I mean, you're going to need better than that if you're going to go on and want to win a Super Bowl, dude. I mean, and I'm not blaming Jalen here. I'm blaming the situational play calling, because if it wasn't for Hurts' wheels, remember something, he improvised the entire night tonight.
Right.
The scripted stuff sucked. Don't you look what? Hey, the running in between the tackles after Landon got hurt, it was going nowhere. theoretically, they shut Barkley down. And if it wasn't for Hurts' improvising, right?
Yep.
Being able to move around in the pocket, being able to get an extended series. Dude, that offense, that was a terrible play called game last night for him.
Well,
I
thought
mean,
the first half was all
but
right.
I think for him, that was really all Jalen Hurts tonight, in my opinion. That was really all him.
It really was. It was Jalen Hurts all throughout that. I mean, that offense wouldn't have done shit without Jalen Hurts tonight.
Look, if you look at the numbers, you're gonna go, well, but you had to watch the game.
Yeah.
How important him extending those plays were.
100%. I mean, you talked about Sills. The offensive line didn't have as good of a game as we're. I mean, we're used to having the best.
That's the worst performance by an O-line for a Philadelphia Eagles team in 4 years.
Yeah, which I mean, there was a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts tonight, and to your point, he was able to improvise. He was able to get out of the pocket. He was able to, turn it into positive yardage. So a lot of credit for Jalen Hurts there and the way he was able to do it. But definitely some concern. I mean, I'm not used to talking about that on a postgame show. So is that the offensive line maybe got beat up a little bit, and they kind of did.
I thought Dallas held them. Remember, I said, Zander, that you have to hold Dallas under 65 plays. They did. They held them to 62 plays in this ball game tonight. I mean, Dallas, bro, I thought the Cowboys had nothing to stop that offense. They kept themselves and made it a fourth quarter game.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they wanted to do. Remember, I said, Zander, I don't think they have enough to beat you, but I think they have enough to make it a game.
Yep,
that's exactly what they did tonight.
Yep, no doubt they did. They did. Are
you disappointed the game was this close?
No, I wasn't disappointed because Sills, it's week one, and again, I'm going to continue to bring us back to that because it is week one. We knew it was going to be ugly. Like we knew it wasn't going to be this pretty. Okay, it's the finish, right? Like you're not painting a Picasso here. It's not week 16 with the defense that they're not all humming, but there was a couple things that I think I could nitpick, and I think the one is what you said. I mean, I don't think there's ever a game. I don't care what the circumstance is, that AJ Brown should have one target. I just don't. I view AJ like I view Saquon. When people are like, you have Saquon Barkley, why would you not use him? Use him. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Well, you also have AJ Brown, and he's that good. Use him. Take advantage of it. Draw up plays to him. Make sure you're force feeding him the football because I'm of the belief that if you do that, good things will happen for your offense. So that would be my one gripe. But again, week one, how does it evolve each week? I do think there's going to be a big evolution on this offense throughout the year.
How many times have you said this, that Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert had better games than DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown?
Goedert had a good game. He had 7 targets.
Dotson had a pretty decent game.
Well, how about Dotson on that big throw, man? That Jalen Hurts throw was money, man. I thought I noticed something. I don't know if you noticed this. Probably didn't, but I thought that ball was popping off Jalen's hands tonight. Even that throw he made to Saquon on the sideline before the end of the first half, I'm like, that ball had some whip on it, man. And that deep ball to Dotson was right on the dollar from Jalen Hurts. That was a great throw right there. I want to see them
make this observation to you also. Don't you think that it's no coincidence that Dotson has been working the majority of the time this offseason with Jalen, and all of a sudden the guy who stepped up to make some of the biggest plays in the game, in the passing game tonight, was Jahan Dotson. Here's the one guy that's been working with him, and also Goddard too, right? Those two guys have been on the field the most.
Yes.
This camp, right? Well, all of a sudden these two guys come out of this game having really carried the mail when it came to the passing game tonight. DeVonta Smith did it. DeVonta had some tough catches, but AJ was a non-factor in this game in the passing game. He's always a factor in the run game. You always got to be worried about him.
You think the injury was a problem tonight?
Boy, what? Okay, then let's do this. Let's add this in. He had one target tonight. They made a ton of moves they made 2 moves for wide receivers. He didn't practice at all during training camp, and he had one target tonight. You tell me. What do you think it is?
What are you alluding to, Mr. Sileo?
How do you? Hey, okay. Well, let's see. 2 and 2 is 4 usually, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean,
what do we go? Oh, wait. Nothing's wrong. Okay, wait. If something's not wrong with him, then something's wrong with Kevin Patullo.
I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with it. I do want to get A.J. Brown more involved. But look, the Eagles win 24-20 tonight. I'll rattle off some of the box score, and then we'll go to the Super Chats. I want to thank and welcome everybody for being here tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Jalen Hurts was 19. By the way, they won 24-20 was the final score. Only 3 second-half points, Sills, for the Eagles, and no points for the Cowboys in the second half. So 41 of the 44 points in the game tonight came in the first half. In that sloppy first half. So second half was a much different story. Jalen Hurts was 19-23 for 152. No touchdowns, no picks, 1 sack, and 94.2 rating. A great performance for him. Very efficient, 19-23. Jalen Hurts also led the team in rushing. He had 14 carries for 62 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. They were a thing of beauty. Saquon Barkley went 18 carries for 60 yards, 3.3 average, which is much lower for Saquon. They held him pretty well tonight.
Yeah.
Will Shipley, Sills, I thought looked pretty good tonight. 3 carries, 26 yards, but I think he's going to be a decent change of pace back for this football team. Then you go into the receivers. Jahan Dotson, 3 catches, 59 yards, and a long of 51. He obviously had that deep catch from Jalen Hurts, was a thing of beauty. Dallas Goedert was the leading receiver in terms of receptions, 7 receptions for 44 yards. Saquon had 4 receptions for 24. And then it was DeVonta 3 for 16, AJ 1 for 8, and Kylan Granson 1 for 1. So that was it on the box score for the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Not a whole lot there, Big Sills. Let's go to the Super Chats from the great people of JAKIB Nation. I want to thank.
What do you make of Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith tonight?
I didn't think Jalen Hunt did much at all. I mean, I was told he was going to be
that one play in the backfield.
Right, that one play in the backfield where he came inside. That was a nice play. Made the play in the backfield. Good play there, but certainly no pressure off the edge.
None. There was no. I didn't feel any. Did you see Dak threatened at all?
No.
You know what? In the last 4,
there was a couple times where I feel like
4 minutes, I thought he was in the last.
Right, there was a couple times Dak got it off with like a second to go, barely a half a second to go. But overall, I mean, the pressure wasn't really there. I mean, let's be real.
And I thought they ran off tackle very well. I thought Again, I'm surprised Dallas played as well as they did.
I'll tell you what, so it's funny, for anybody who tuned into our JAKIB pregame show tonight, I got to give Big Sil some credit because, you talked about if Dallas runs for 118, you think there's going to be an issue. They ran for 119. And the other thing you said to me was, if CeeDee Lamb has 200 yards, you're in trouble.
That's right.
Well, CeeDee Lamb had 7 catches for 110 tonight, and he had 4 drops. And those drops were not 5-yard drops.
They were 25 yards down the field.
He might have had 2. And again, if he makes those catches, what type of outcome are we talking about? Now, I'm not going to sit here and play the if game, but I am going to say how close you were to being on the money. If CeeDee Lamb does that, plus the running game that they had, that's a whole new outcome here in Philly tonight.
Hey, bro, I thought the Eagles were going to put one in on the board and go 31-20 for me because they would have put it 31-20 for me if they got it late. So right. They didn't. They didn't want to go for it. They just started taking it either. But, dude, man, I mean, how do you feel? Okay, how about this? You're right. They got the win. If you're Nick Sirianni coming off the field, how you feeling about your football team? Are you going with that glass half full going like this? Hey, it's ugly. We got the win. We had a lot. There were a lot of situations out there.
Well, I think they're positive,
the Dickerson injury, the passing game didn't look very good. I mean, there were a whole bunch of things that were fighting, and Dallas showed up. Let's give the Cowboys credit. They showed up.
I think there are things to build on those hills. I do. I think there are things to build on. And the other thing I think that's an advantage is you have early adversity. I thought there was real adversity tonight. You were able to prevail and overcome it. Yep. And we've already we went through this last year. You see what a team can learn in the first couple weeks of the year. I think the Eagles are kind of got an expedited look at some of those lessons by the way the game went tonight. So I view that as a positive, but there's a lot to clean up. There's no doubt about that.